when answering exam questions, there are a few key things to remember, right? So just remember, exam technique is a key part in preparation for any exams, and it's something that you'll pick up the more you go and you do past papers. Right, so many questions in exams are repeats of what will be in old exams. So going and looking at lots of generic questions beforehand is a good idea. When going and answering and questions and reading them, there's a few things just take into account. Make sure you go read the question at least twice so you don't make any mistakes when you're reading them. As you're reading them, go highlight key information. Don't make assumptions about what the question is asking. Make sure after you've answered it, you go check your work for daft errors that you might make. And if it involves going and answering something where there's some calculation, make sure that you write your workings out down. Right, let's go and have a look at the question.
So in this question, we're kind of going to have another little look at blood and have a look at blood vessels. So it starts off talking about the circulatory system is composed of blood and blood vessels and the heart, right? So urea is transported in the blood. Name two of the blood substances that is transported in blood plasma. Right, so remember that blood plasma goes and transports not oxygen, because the oxygen is being transported by the hemoglobin. So it's things like glucose and other mineral ions and such forth that are made, right? We'll have a look at the answers to that in a second. Right, the second part talks about some athletes training at high altitude. Right, so training at high altitude increases the number of red blood cells per centimetre cubed of blood. Right, if we're looking at the advantage of this, these are some of the key things that we need to think about. Right, we need to remember that muscles require lots of energy to contract. So to go and help them do this, we need to bring more oxygen to them. We need to be able to go and increase the amount of oxygen that's getting to them. So, just that first bit, carbon dioxide, water, glucose, amino acids. The second bit all kind of focuses on this getting more oxygen to them. So the fact that they've got more hemoglobin. So more hemoglobin can carry more oxygen, right? And we're carrying more oxygen for aerobic respiration. Right, they're the key bits that we need to kind of get at. Right, then we move on to looking at blood vessels. Right, so remember, blood vessels are the bits in the body that's carrying the blood around. Right, so arteries carry oxygenated blood, right, from the heart towards the tissues. Right, we're carrying oxygen towards the tissues because that is going to be where oxygen is needed for respiration. So the arteries are blood vessels that go and carry oxygen to the rest of the body. They're lined with smooth tissue to reduce the friction, and they've worked at a relatively high blood pressure. If we go and compare that to veins, however, so veins are important in returning deoxygenated blood to the heart, right? So veins have a much wider lumen, so there you go, so wider diameter than the arteries. So you can see there's the arteries, it's much smaller. So they work at a much lower pressure. So they've got elastic tissue in them that enables them to go and contract a little bit more. The blood pressure is lower, and more to the point, veins have valves in them. So valves are little bits that kind of go like that stop backflow. Right, so they're stopping the blood flowing backwards. So we're looking at this. So which type of blood vessel is the atrium? Right, so the atrium is going to be A. So that would be A. So compare the structure of an artery with that of a vein. So some key things that we'll need to go and talk about is that arteries have a much thicker layer of muscle than the veins. Arteries have a thicker layer of elastic tissue. The arteries don't have valves. The lumen is thinner or smaller, so the pressure is higher. Right, the big important thing about arteries is that they have valves, which arteries don't.
So hopefully you have found that useful. If you've got any questions, then drop it in the comments below, and we'll be uploading a lot more. Right, good luck, folks.